We're not politically correct, we just have common sense.
Unscripted, unfiltered, unfaltering. Show of Support's Hunt for Heroes offers tributes and true stories of remarkable courage.
That these terrorists could come in your bedroom and kill you, your wife, and your kids. And that's what these men are fighting to protect us from, these murdering idiots. And they're taking them out so that we don't have to deal with them over here.
Show of Support started it all just after the shock and awe bound a nation together. Now, years of footage portraying wounded veterans, deer stands, and standing ovations. Hunt for Heroes, that started as one man's way to say thanks, is now a series that many say is way overdue.
I ain't never felt like that before, and I want to feel that again.
It's just a raw emotion.
They left us being loved and being honored for the heroes that they are.
We still have 40,000 injured troops.
If you threaten our people and our way of life, we will find you wherever you may be hiding, in the place you feel most safe, and we'll kill you in your own bedroom. Thank you for being a country worth fighting for. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
It's going to take a while to get around all of them, but there's no quitting. It'll never stop as long as I'm breathing.
Show of Support Hunt for Heroes is made possible through a partnership with Pioneer Natural Resources, Boss Blinds, Caltech, Tico Field Service, Double J Ranches, Sggt Charities, and Christmas for our troops.
The weather is, some people call it bad. We're out here not because we have to be, it's because people want us out here. Your mind wanders, your mind goes to a point where you enjoy the things that we typically take for granted when we're in the urban setting. And to take in the air was clean, it was crisp. The first thought that came across my mind was that here it is, 4 years after 5 November 2009, after the terroristic atrocity that I lived through, that I can actually physically walk on a beautiful ranch, feel the sting of the cold on my face, and sit down and go on a deer hunt, and a hunt that was sponsored by a awesome American that was giving back to ill, injured, and wounded soldiers or service members, not because he had to, because he wanted to. And the man that killed 14 people that day and wounded 32, as I was sitting there walking out to the blind, he was in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, confined to a wheelchair, to a cell 6 feet by 9 feet, and he would never have the opportunity to feel the elements or to enjoy freedom.
Unlike most winter storms, no one saw this coming. A massive Arctic front that would have all but shut down most deer hunts. But when you're 6'9" and built like a grizzly bear, a little thing like ice and single-digit temperatures are no distraction at all. Accompanied by hunting guide Andy Cobb, Alonzo Lunsford finally got his chance to hunt a Texas whitetail buck. He's chased the whitetail in his home state of North Carolina many times and is excited to be here in the Rocking Chair Ranch. It's been a while since Alonzo has been here in the Lone Star State. You see, the last memories he has of Texas is a nightmare. November 4th, 2009, the worst terrorist attack ever on an American military installation. At Fort Hood, Texas, Alonzo somehow survives 7 gunshot wounds, most at point blank, inflicted by a cowardly idiot, Nidal Malik Hassan. On this edition of Show of Support Hunt for Heroes, one giant of a man shares his incredible story of facing death face to face, only to be gut shot by the Obama administration. Warning, we are about to leave the politically correct zone. Follow an American hero from tragedy to triumph. Stay with us.
You turn your body. Stand firm. Square up. Good job. Well, we're located in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and the name of the school we're located is called Fayetteville Christian School. And I coach women's basketball, high school women's basketball. Interesting thing about our team is that the mission statement for Fayetteville Christian School is to propel our future leaders to be upright citizens and God-fearing citizens. And also, we finished our season last year being conference champions. Defense, hold on, you gonna be playing in the middle? Winning the conference tournament. Move up. And we finished our season 28-2. We lost in the semifinals of the state playoffs. So this year, we're bouncing back. We graduated a lot of seniors, and we have only sustained 4 losses for the season thus far.
Look forward.
So basically, we're making a run at the title again, but it's a little tougher because we have a young team. But the young ladies, they are life-saving for me. They don't realize it. They look at it as my past experience in terms of coaching college basketball, coaching pro basketball. If she turns this way, you know the screen is coming off this way, right? You close this and take this away and force them to shoot out instead of staying out there with her. Playing pro and college basketball as if they're getting a lot from me, but in essence, it's the reverse. I'm getting a lot from them because those days that I have that are dark, when I'm in pain or when I am depressed, when I come into practice, seeing their faces light up, that gives you the will to continue to push on, not to quit, because those are our future leaders. All you gotta do is turn. What you gonna do, Paige? Like this right here, dribble, come back around, and you shoot the shot. Man, I'm good.
Just outside the gates of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Alonzo Lunsford's Warrior girls basketball team is on their way to another championship season. Coach Lunsford knows talent when he sees it. They're practically in the shadow of basketball powerhouse Duke University and the North Carolina Tar Heels. As practice goes into its second exhausting hour, Alonzo shows no worse for wear. It's incredible, considering he's lucky just to be walking at all.
I was a junior in college, and that's when Desert Storm, Desert Shield started. And every male in my family served in the military, so I felt that it was my patriotic duty. I can finish school anytime. So I withdrew from school, and I joined the military. While I was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, my MOS, I am a healthcare specialist. And so I worked at the Soldier Readiness Processing Center, and my specific job was to give all of the inoculations for service members that were going out to theater and returning from theater.
Eventually, following multiple deployments, Alonzo Lunsford was serving at Fort Hood in Central Texas when a normal day on the base was about to erupt into the worst terrorist attack ever on an American military post.
Interestingly about that day was that Major Malik Hassan, I had worked with him on the 18th of October, 2 weeks prior. He was giving one of my civilian workers a hard time. And she called me over, and I recognized him, he recognized me. And I said, well, look, sir, you have to take these shots. And he said, I don't want to do it. I said, well, I'll tell you what. You can refuse the shots when it becomes a command and control issue at this point. And so I had one of my nurses to give him the shots, and everything was fine. He was at the last step of the process. and he was sitting down with his elbows on his knees and his head in his hands. That's when he jumped up on the counter and he yelled, "Allahu Akbar," twice, which means God is great in Arabic. And any service member knows that when you hear that, stuff's about to hit the fan. And he went right-handed, fist in palm, and he pointed at the soldier sitting down. He started discharging a weapon. So my thought was, if I get outside the building, I can get some other people, go to my Jeep, find something. We can come back in, flank this guy, and put him down. Well, right when I was going to make the dash towards the back door, something said, "Turn around and check your six," meaning look behind you. And when I turned, he had a bead on me, and when the laser went across my line of sight, I blinked. And that's when he discharged the weapon. The first round went in above my left eye, between my brain and my skull, and exited out my left ear. I spun around, I hit the floor. I'm trying to low crawl behind the desk, and he shoots me in my back. So I play dead. I can close my eyes and I can have a mental picture of where people are, listening by sound. And I knew he was going towards the back end of the building, and he was just shooting targets at random. So I get up to go outside the building, and people crowded the back door, so I'm pushing him out of the building. He comes out behind me and he shoots me again. I tumble in the grass. He goes back inside the building. Chief Royale, Christopher Royale, comes out, and he comes up to me and says, "Hey, stay here, play dead." I said, "Am I out of the building?" He said, "Yeah." The next thing I remember, I had passed out, and two of my coworkers, Lieutenant Veronica Pacheco, who's now Captain Veronica Pacheco, was triaging me, and Shamika Harrison. And while they were doing this, he came back outside the building again and started shooting at us. I got hit some more.
Alonzo Lunsford suffered an unbelievable 7 gunshot wounds that day, and somehow the will to survive triumphed over a coward's crazed attack. His ordeal would take many unexpected turns, and as it turns out, he would become the lead prosecuting witness in the trial against Nidal Malik Hassan. But not before one more shocking reality hits Alonzo Lunsford square in the face. As Show of Support, Hunt for Heroes continues. Stay with us.
The next guest we have with us tonight is Staff Sergeant Alonzo Lunsford, who is a psychiatric specialist. His wife, Jerry, was with us this evening. He has...
On stage with his wife, Jerry, Alonzo Lunsford is stunned by the standing ovation at the Show of Support Hunt for Heroes banquet in Midland, Texas.
2003, Iraqi Freedom in 2004, and New Dawn in 2005. Again, he was preparing for...
Well, I already knew about people from West Texas. They was God-loving, and they are very patriotic and supportive. I knew that already, but this took it to another level. This just took it to a level to where I think the whole nation needs to see this.
His rifle sponsor is Smith Industries, and the presenter is Mr. Chris Smith.
I looked at it, I was like, wait a minute. This is top of the line right here. I mean, you can't even put a description on it. You can't even put a price tag on it. I mean, I know it's a price tag, but it's priceless. And this is a classic example of American pride.
Bathed by the spotlight and admiration of thousands of West Texas patriots, the Lunsfords take it all in. It's a far cry from the morning after the attack, when Alonzo was about to be deeply injured one more time.
This is something that's going to shock you. The day after we got hit, President Obama and his wife came to Fort Hood. They had a luncheon, and all of our family members and some of the soldiers that were able to go, he sat in front of them and he says that He apologized for what happened. He said, we would take care of you.
It was a promise from President Obama that turned out to be a big slap in the face to the Americans injured and killed that terrible day. Barack Obama's Department of Justice refused to acknowledge the deadly attack as a terrorist attack, officially designating November 5, 2009 as simply a workplace violence. For Alonzo and the other victims and survivors' families, it was a devastating blow, leaving them, in essence, to fend for themselves.
Had it been called a terrorist act of terrorism, there are benefits that are out there for soldiers that receive the Purple Heart, that they are given this benefit that we were denied. I'm saddened by a person lying to us. It's a situation where I am a firm believer that to lead this nation, you have had to have worn a uniform. That's just my own personal belief. To lead this nation, don't make a promise to get a vote and then backtrack on that promise, because it will come back to bite you. I respect my commander-in-chief, even though I'm retired, because he's my commander-in-chief. However, don't lie to me.
The morning after the banquet, as the warriors prepare to say goodbye to their wives, Alonzo feels compelled to address the group.
That really touched me to the bottom of my heart, because I was having a hard time. But just also to let you know that when we go on this hunt today, and sir, I know you was talking about being politically correct. When I get that deer in my sights, the person that I would see with antlers is Malik Nadal Hussein from Roanoke,
The caravan of American heroes makes its way in the freezing cold to the Rocking Chair Ranch for a hunt these warriors will never forget. This is the moment Alonzo Lunsford has been waiting for. His second chance to get out to the deer blind here on the Rocking Chair Ranch near San Angelo, Texas, with hunting guide Andy Cobb. Their first hunt was slow, but Andy decides to return to the same blind nevertheless. The shooting at Fort Hood left Alonzo blind in one eye. Alonzo has developed his own style of glassing for game.
We had a scope that was on the weapon, but I had my own scope as well. And so that scope is my lucky scope. That's why I used to hunt with. And it was like, oh wow, there he is. And he had no clue that he were in our sights. As we sit in the blind, after the deer was eating, the first deer, we see a jake, a turkey come up, and about 5 feet from him, here comes two more, and then 3 feet behind that, it was a whole string of them. We're sitting there, and as we're talking, the guy tapped me on the leg. He's like, shh, be quiet. And here comes this deer up from the side of the blind. And he's just walking casually along, just like he's going out on a stroll. I do everything in threes. So I took 3 deep breaths, and on the last breath, when I exhaled, I had him in my sights. And when I let all the air out my body, I squeeze the trigger.
He's got a unique little rack on him.
One shot, one kill. He took a stagger step and he dropped right there on the spot. And at that point, Tango down.
Right.
All right.
Good job.
When I have the buck mounted on my wall, I'm not gonna think about Major Son. I'm not gonna think about what he did to me or the others from the Fort Hood family. What I'm gonna think about is pride, honor, patriotism, fellowship, and belief in our continental United States and the foundation that it was built upon. Because what show of support Mr. Terry Johnson and the whole family from Midland and from West Texas, what they did to reach out to us and continue to do for the past 10 years, that this is what true American patriots do, is strictly from the heart.